Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and this week on Game of Thrones, it was totally time to throw down. The episode was directed by Neil Marshall. He directed Blackwater from Season 2, so if the episode felt like a sequel to that, that's why. Real quick before round 9 of the giveaway starts now, just as a way to say thank you to all you guys for being so awesome, I'm picking a random subscriber from the comments on this video to give an Amazon gift card to. I'll announce who the winner is whenever I post my Q&A video tomorrow night. So much to talk about, so let's just get right in it. So what I'm going to do is start with my top 5 WTF moments, then I'm going to do my review, and then I'll circle back around for any plot threads that we need to remember before the finale. So careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, but number 5, Master Aemon explains love. Even for a Targaryen, Master Aemon was on fire tonight. In fact, he was my favorite supporting character. Alistair Thorne got a pretty good battle speech, but I feel like Aemon's speech about love was way better. If you're not familiar, Aemon is the great uncle of the Mad King. When his older brothers died, they offered him the crown, but he turned it down and took the black. That's what he was talking about when he said he was at court and women were throwing themselves at him. I couldn't find out who the woman he was talking about, the woman that he was in love with, or which house she belonged to, so if you do know, just write it in the comments below. I like how he foreshadowed Ygritte and Jon Snow's reunion with his big takeaway quote, "Love is the death of duty." Their duty was to chop each other's heads off, but because they were still in love, they just forgot about it whenever the time came. I also think it's really cool when you start to think about unending love and the threat of White Walkers and necromancy. Like if Jon Snow had not told Samwell to burn the bodies at the end, his and Ygritte's love might turn into zombie white love and literally become undying. I did not see Master Aemon during the battle, so fingers crossed that he survived to the finale. Number 4, Jon Snow explains what it means to be in love. I don't believe for a minute that he's not a bloody poet. The whole gossipy exchange, though, would have been really funny in any other episode, but because this episode was like Two Towers in the Battle of Helm's Deep, it was very wishful. Samwell did get a few moments with Gilly, and they have their own kind of love. But really, it did seem like he just wanted to know what it was like to have sex. I love how hard his brain was working to try and find a way past their oath so he could just hook up with Gilly and not feel guilty about it. To be fair, Night's Watch brothers have broken the implied no sex oath all the time over the years. I say implied because Samwell was correct with his literal interpretation of the oath. Really, he should just go for it, but if anything happens between them, I have a feeling that Gilly is going to be the one to make the first move. Number 3, the Wildlings attack on 2 fronts. Jon was correct when he was saying Mance was just testing their northern defenses. They have a whole lot more giants where those 2 came from. The giants lifting the gate actually reminded me of Return of the Jedi whenever the Rancor died. They killed that one giant and the other one flipped out. That was not the only Return of the Jedi reference I saw either. The episode felt like a mix of Two Towers, Star Wars, and Star Trek. It was amazing. The way they altered the theme song for the battle made it so much cooler. If you didn't notice, it was just a little off-tempo version of the opening credits theme song. It started whenever Jon jumped down off the lift and started swinging Longclaw around. It really did seem like the music in the episode was all drums and string bass. That early shot when the raiding party was rushing the South Gate gave us that amazing panoramic shot that went from them, panned up the wall, and out over Mance's army, just to hammer home that Mance was attacking from the north and the raiders from the south at the same time. I'm really hoping in the finale they give us a daylight shot of Mance's army, just like a real big wide shot to give you an idea of the scale. The Night's Watch only had about 100 men before tonight's battle, so they're probably down to like 50 or 60. That big north gate is still intact, but if it only took one giant to lift it, it's not going to be much comfort. Number 2, Jon Snow takes command. This was like his Kobayashi Maru, the unwinnable scenario. That's why I mentioned Star Trek earlier. I'll go as far to say that that scenario is still not over at the end of this episode. He still has to deal with that giant army. He's still in the middle of this unwinnable scenario. I loved how Dolores had invented a reason for Yenno Slip to go back down. I kind of half expected them to just punch him and make him pass out. It's like the show's preparing us for Jon to take a leadership role. Yenno Slint is the only other senior commander that's left alive right now, so it's unclear whether or not they're going to actually pass command, like real command of the Night's Watch, to Jon this season, or they're going to turn it into some big plot that'll carry over to season 5. One of my favorite moments, though, was when the brothers on top of the wall asked Jon how he knew the climbers wouldn't get to the top till morning. Because I totally made that climb. And my number 1 WTF moment, of course, Ygritte dies. That way Jon smiled at her at the end was just so amazing. That was my favorite reaction shot from the episode. I'm not sure if he was thinking about the strung arrow she had trained on him, but this is where Master Aemon's quote came full circle. They both just kind of freeze. I totally did not see that little kid coming. I thought they were going to let him kill the big Thenn in some sort of revenge moment for them killing his family. That's why Game of Thrones is so awesome, though. Now Jon feels extra guilty about Ygritte's death, which probably led to Jon's decision to enter the Dragon's Maw of Mance's camp without a weapon, without Longclaw. It's so sad to see Egret go, but did anyone think that they were not a tragic couple? It's like relationships, especially weddings, equal death on the show, so maybe Sam is better off not knowing what sex is like. I definitely think the rest of John's heart died tonight, like he is frozen solid to the core now. It'll probably be his sense of duty that'll keep him going. However, he will probably never laugh out loud again or smile. But now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments below, what was your biggest WTF moment? I have a feeling we're all on the same page and thinking the same unfortunate Ginger thoughts, but her last line, "You know nothing, Jon Snow," is right off the page of the book. If you want to read her death scene, it's actually Book 3, Jon, Chapter 7. Overall, I felt like the whole episode from a production standpoint was just an A+. It was amazing. It really was like a direct sequel to the Blackwater episode, at least in terms of scope. The battle also reminded me a lot of the battle for Helm's Deep in Two Towers, from the way they altered the music to the wildlings charging. Very cinematic, very awesome. Do not be surprised if this episode gets nominated for a technical Emmy. Those are just the Emmys they give for production. Like I said, Neil Marshall directed this episode. He's the guy that directed the Blackwater episode, which was also kind of like a Helm's Deep episode too. Helm's Deep with a lot of wildfire. Just comparing the two episodes, I think from a production standpoint and an emotional payoff, Blackwater is still my favorite. Kit Harington is awesome, but almost no one else on the show can hold a candle to Peter Dinklage. I guess during Blackwater, Joffrey would have been their version of Janos Slynt, like the person in charge who's just a huge coward. Just because I think the Blackwater was a little bit better doesn't mean I didn't like this episode or didn't think it was really amazing, but it feels like they were really just holding half the story back for the finale. Even if it only was half a story, it was still a freaking awesome half of a story. Whenever Jon passed through the gate to go meet with Mance, did anyone else get a flash of Return of the Jedi from Luke standing outside Jabba's palace with the big gate there? Even Jon left his sword behind, just like Luke didn't have his lightsaber, so I wonder if they did it on purpose like that. The thing I'm really most curious about right now is what they're going to end the season on, which moment. There's a lot of big plots still floating around in the air. I'll leave a lot of that discussion for my Q&A video tomorrow, but here are a few things left hanging in the episode. First off, what the hell is Jon going to do when he gets to Mance's camp? I don't think that anyone else believes that he's going to be able to kill him. Janos Slynt is also still an issue. They mostly used him for comedy in this episode, but he has been a pain in Jon's ass all season. And what the hell are they going to do with Tormund Giantsbane? He's one of the wildlings' best fighters. There's no way he is giving up information unless the Night's Watch wants to learn about sex with bears. Seriously, that was one of the funniest parts of the episode. So feel free to ask any remaining plot questions for the finale or anything else. Please use spoiler tags if you've read the books and you want to talk about books 4 and 5 stuff. Also, because next week is the finale, I'm going to be doing extra special bonus videos all the way through this week and next week. My next one is probably going to be ranking the previous finales, but feel free to leave me suggestions. So right now you can click here to get that Q&A video. I'll have the annotation as soon as I post it. And you can click here to learn about all the most important prophecies on the show. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.